Oh yes, okay, I'm excited for this one. I've totally forgot about this one. What is up guys, and welcome back to another video. So today is going to be a little bit of a book haul. Now for me, that does not mean buying like 50 books and like going on a total rampage. For me, a book haul means like maybe 10 books. So there's not a ton here, but I am really excited to get into them. Most of them I'm planning on reading this summer. I think there's like one of them that from the cover, it looks like it's set in like winter time. So I'm probably gonna wait to read that one. I am excited. Some of these are like a little bit outside of my comfort zone, I guess you would say, like different than what I would typically read. It's not just like a basic literary fiction. Now, two of them, I already took them out of the package and started reading them as soon as they arrived because I was just too antsy to wait. One of those is The Omnivore's Dilemma. These are all from eBay, like secondhand used. I always filter by like good or very good condition, and then that way I'm not getting something that's like too busted up, and then I filter by price, so I know I'm getting something that is at least in good condition, but maybe only like, some of them were literally like $4 or $5, so that's pretty cool. This one came out in 2006. I am 8 chapters in, I think, something like that. Yeah, I'm about 120 pages into this one. Really loving it so far. He's talking a lot about corn. I've only learned about corn so far, so I'm kind of hoping it switches up at some point. And talks about something a little bit different because I'm a little bit over corn. I love corn, but yes, so this will be in probably like my May wrap up, maybe June. I don't know if I'll have it finished by May. So it's a little dense, so we'll see how quickly I move through this one. And then the other one that I couldn't wait for was Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life. Boyfriend and I have watched so many like interviews and videos with Jordan Peterson. He's like intimidatingly smart, and his book so far has been quite cerebral. We're kind of taking it pretty slow. The chapters are a little bit long. He's definitely going very deeply into a lot of different aspects of life. So we've only read the first 3 rules so far, but we are loving it. So I assume this will probably be in my June wrap up. Some shops offer like buy 3 get a 4th free kind of situation, or buy 4 get the 5th free, something. So there were several that this shop had for sale that I have had on my TBR. I just keep everything on Pinterest in a to be read board. The first is fairly old. This is The Seat of the Soul. I want to say this came out like a long time ago. Is this from like the 90s? 80s, 1989 is the copyright. So I love me a good like self-help type book. It says The Seat of the Soul is about the birth of a new species and the explosion of human perception past the 5 senses. It is about the values of the soul: harmony, cooperation, sharing, and reverence for life. It is about authentic power, the alignment of the personality with the soul. It's about non-physical guides and teachers. The Seat of the Soul is written for the largest, fast-growing market the world has ever seen or ever will see. That is because the new species is being born inside of us. The Seat of the Soul is about this birth, what it means, and how to participate in it wisely. Anything that's similar to like Eckhart Tolle or Jerry and Esther Hicks, like that kind of vibe, I eat those books up. So I'm hoping that I will like this one, even though it may seem a little bit dated because apparently it is from the 80s. So we'll see how I get on with that one. This next one, I don't remember where I first saw it, like what booktuber was talking about it, but I know I have seen it online for a couple of years now, I think. This is Diary of an Oxygen Thief. I couldn't honestly tell you what it was about. I don't even know if I looked at the synopsis. I just kind of went off of everybody's really good reviews. It's written anonymously, which I think is pretty fascinating. Like that, just that aspect alone makes it a bit of a mystery. This is the one I was saying I want to wait until winter to read because I assume maybe it takes place during winter. If you have read this, you can let me know if that is true or if the cover is a little bit misleading. The blurb is very short up here at the top. It just says, hurt people hurt people. Say Holden Caulfield was an alcoholic and Lolita was a photographer's assistant, and somehow they met in Bright Light's big city. He's blinded by love, she by ambition. Diary of an Oxygen Thief is an honest, hilarious, and heartrending novel, but above all, a very realistic account of what we do to each other and what we allow to have done to us. Okay, that's probably why I picked it up, because I love Lolita. As disturbing and pedophilic as Lolita is, nobody can deny how phenomenal it is written and how beautifully disgusting that story is. So there being like a little blurb about Lolita is probably one of the reasons why I picked it up. So we'll see how this goes. Pretty short, but I am probably gonna wait until it gets a little bit colder outside. I don't know, do you guys do that where you look at a book and whatever the vibe of the cover is, you like wait till that time of the year to read it? I've been doing that for a long time, so maybe I'm wrong, but probably gonna wait a little bit for this one. The next one looks really good. This is a new find for me. So I've been interested in the whole gypsy lifestyle, like wanting to know more about it. What does it even mean? Is it, you know, is it just a lifestyle? Is it a religion? Is it like, what exactly is it? I've always been kind of unsure. And so I wanna say Pinterest recommended me this. Pinterest, I'm not gonna lie, recommends me the best books. I don't know what it is about the algorithm, but it usually gives me pretty good recommendations. So this is Bury Me Standing. It says, fabled, feared, romanticized, and reviled, the gypsies are among the least understood people on earth. Now a diaspora of 12 million, their culture remains largely obscure. But in Isabel Fonseca, they have found an eloquent witness. Fonseca offers sharp insights into the humor, language, wisdom, and taboos of the gypsies. She traces their exodus out of India 1,000 years ago and their astonishing history of persecution. Enslaved by the princes of medieval Romania, massacred by the Nazis, forcibly assimilated by the communist regimes, and most recently evicted from their settlements by nationalist mobs throughout the new democracies of Eastern Europe. Whether as handy scapegoats or figments of the romantic imagination, the gypsies have always been with us, but never before have they been brought so vividly to life. So I'm just interested. I remember like the first time ever hearing about a gypsy was probably in 8th grade. So this would have been like 2008 or something like that. We did a whole unit in English class on the Holocaust. We did like a deep dive into the Holocaust. And obviously when you think of the Holocaust, you typically think of Jewish people. But I remember hearing about gypsies, I think for the first time then. And we didn't really talk about them. It was all about Jewish people, which does make sense, obviously. But yeah, I've just kind of been curious, honestly, ever since. And so I'm now finally getting around to reading about them. It came out in 1995, so it is another one that's like a little bit older. I feel like you can tell from the cover, but I actually really love this cover. I'll have to find out more about the author because it doesn't say in her little blurb at the beginning that she was a gypsy, so maybe she's just a scholar. It just says where she went to school. Yes, so this next one I am really excited for. So I've been reading a lot of Joy Harjo's poetry because we belong to the same tribe. We're both members of the Muskogee Creek Nation tribe. And even though I'm a member, I didn't grow up like learning about it, being educated about it. I remember having like an Oklahoma history class in high school, but it was a bit of a blow-off class. I don't feel like I really actually learned that much. And so I'm trying to kind of slowly get into learning more about the tribe that I'm literally a part of and know basically nothing about. So yes, been reading a lot of Joy Harjo's poetry. I'm gonna do a whole video on her. And while I've been reading her poetry, I started Googling like other authors, other books, and I found this one and it looks really good. It's called The Bear Is My Father, Wisdom of a Muskogee Creek Caretaker of Sacred Ways. And the author is Bearheart and Regina Waterspirit. So lovely names, lovely title, lovely cover. I'm pretty pumped to read about it. So I guess those are the authors. It says The Bear Is My Father is a legacy book that shares the profound teachings of a renowned multi-tribal Muskogee Creek medicine man, Bearheart, one of the last traditionally trained medicine persons of the Muskogee Creek Nation. I wonder if he's still alive. While it is traditional among Native American medicine that a healer takes on an apprentice to learn their ways and then pass them on, Bearheart's medicine was so varied it could not simply be passed along to any one person. Thus, over the course of his life of service, Bearheart shared pieces of his wisdom with different people depending on who could use it. This book is authored in part by Bearhart himself, with insight into better ways of coexisting and living meaningfully on Earth, such as practicing alternative healing methods and using spirituality to unify instead of divide. It's co-authored by Regina Waterspirit, Bearhart's medicine helper and late life spouse of 23 years, whose intimate and insightful stories and reflections give a more personal portrayal of Bearhart. The Bear Is My Father is yet another way for Bearhart to continue sharing his medicine with the world. So it sounds phenomenal. It says it's biography / Native American / spirituality. So we've got kind of it's like a multi-genre book. It says he was a multi-tribal Muskogee Creek medicine man, so I feel like that's kind of fitting. It's pretty short, and I'm excited to dive in. Again, there's just so much that I don't know, and I'm kind of craving some knowledge about it. So if there are any books about Native America, whether they be history or maybe like historical nonfiction, biography, whatever they are, definitely leave me a comment below. Oh yes, okay, I'm excited for this one. I've totally forgot about this one. So this is a newer book. A lot of these, I didn't realize how old they were. They're like from the 90s, basically as old as me. This one is newer, and I believe it's a collection of short stories. It is called I'm Fine, But You Appear to Be Sinking by Lena Crow, something like that. The cover, the title immediately caught me, and I love a good short story collection because I don't want to say I get impatient during longer books or fiction, but it's just nice to kind of dip in and out of short stories. Short stories are cool because if you're not like a big fan of a particular story, it's not going to last but like for a couple more pages probably, and then you can move on to the next one. So I do love a good short story collection. I'm going to need something to take with me on the plane when boyfriend and I are on our way to Georgia. We have a couple of flights, so this would be good because it's not too thick and I can kind of hop in and out of the different stories. So this is another one that has a really short blurb here at the top. It just says, in I'm Fine But You Appear to Be Sinking, there are stories of strange experiences in familiar places and familiar experiences in strange places. Amidst disappearances, prophecies, catastrophes large and small, action figures, and octopuses, Lena Crow explores the moments of human isolation that somehow connect us all. So, it sounds really good. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right. Okay, this one isn't brand new. It came out in 2017, so it's not as new as I thought it was. This is another Pinterest recommendation. Again, I don't know what the deal is, but my Pinterest algorithm is chef's kiss because it always gives me such good book recommendations. So, I'm hoping that I really like this one. It looks like the text on here it's pretty tiny. That'll be interesting. And a lot of these have like weirdly long footnotes. I don't know if I'm gonna be the biggest fan of that. We'll see. It's pretty short. It's like, let's see, it's less than 200 pages. So, and then it looks like it has some good book recs in the back, maybe from the publisher. This is Featherproof Books. I've never heard of Featherproof Books. Okay, it says they publish strange and beautiful fiction and nonfiction and post-trans and intergenre tragicomedy. It's very specific. But anyway, I will let you guys know if I like this or not, whether or not it is worth your time. And then the last one, oh yes, I remember. Okay, so I recently read Braiding Sweetgrass. I think it'll be in my May wrap up for sure. And that is by Robin Wall Kimmerer. I have never read her before, but as soon as I finished reading that book, I was like, okay, what else has she written? Because she has such an incredible mixture of like biography, of like very personal stories in her own life, mixed with knowledge about growing up as, I think, a Potawatomi is the tribe that she's from. So growing up with like that indigenous wisdom, and then she's also a botanist. So she's like including this scientific part of herself as well. Like the way she melds all three of those things together is just like, it was such a beautiful book. So anyway, I immediately ran out. I didn't run out. I went on my phone on eBay and typed in her name and was like, let's just see what else comes up. And this is called Gathering Moss. I think she even has a few more things, but this is the one that looked and sounded the most interesting to me. It says it's a natural and cultural history of mosses. So I'm gonna learn a lot about moss, which I love moss. When boyfriend and I are, you know, down by a creek or something, a lot of times we'll go together, and he goes to fish and then I go to read. I take a book with me, and we're always very careful if we're at the lake or something, because like moss is so slippery. He'll always be like, watch it, there's moss, because you can slip easily. I don't know. That was kind of a dumb story to tell, but it looks like it's going to be quite educational. There's like some pictures and like little diagrams and things in here. I'm hoping that it's like the same kind of writing that was in Braiding Sweetgrass. If it ends up leaning more scientific, I may not be as impressed with this one. It says it's the first book by internationally best-selling author Robin Wall Kimmerer. It is a beautifully written mix of science and personal reflection that invites readers to explore and learn from the elegantly simple lives of mosses. So it does sound like it's going to be a mix of both of those things, so that's really good. In this series of linked personal essays, the author clearly and artfully explains the biology of mosses and reflects on what these fascinating organisms have to teach us. Drawing on her diverse experiences as a scientist, mother, teacher, and writer of Native American heritage, Kimmerer explains the stories of mosses in scientific terms as well as in the framework of indigenous ways of knowing. In her deft hands, the natural history and cultural relationships of mosses become a powerful metaphor for ways of living in the world. So it does sound like it's going to be similar to Braiding Sweetgrass. She's going to be an auto-buy author for me now if she ever comes out with anything new. Let me see when this one came out. I don't know. Okay, the copyright for this one is 2003. It says it won an award for natural history writing, and I can see why, because her writing is so beautiful. So again, this will be a really nice summer read because they have such a beautiful poetic way of writing. So this is the little stack that we've got. I'm going to add these to my shelves. You guys let me know if any of these, if you've read them before and if they were good. Let me know if they're going to be worth my time or not. And let me know what you guys are reading for this summer, because this is just part of what I will be reading. I'm going to need some more book recommendations, so you guys leave them below in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.